Hello everyone. Today I have done my speech for the informative speech for my public speaking class. My topic is going to be focused more on expression. That's not something that typically at first glance becomes, it's not what you typically think for an informative speech, because why would someone inform you on expressions? What do they mean to people, to ourselves, to other individuals, to other people in their lifetimes? But I really think that educating on the topic and bringing light to things that someone doesn't always think about is a really good way to show how us as individuals perceive others. Um, with that, when we perceive others, we're not only understanding just ourselves, but other individuals, and I think that's really important. When I say expression, I mean how you express yourself or how you allow others to see your expressions of how you're feeling, so your emotions, what you're feeling, what you're going through. There are different ways to express yourself. There's anything from different sports to art forms. I'm going to be focusing more onto the art forms. Me personally, I was in band. I found that as my way of expressing myself, and there's, I think, a lot of benefits to using an art medium to go through and show how you feel to others and be able to allow others in on what you're feeling and what you're going through. Specifically when someone else when you're able to understand yourself, someone else is able to better understand, and that is how we grow as individuals and as a community and a society, is by understanding each other and going through. I think it's very important that you're able to show others how you feel. It lets us know what's going on. You're able to communicate, and that is something that is so important, especially when you may be dealing with something that you asked for help on. Not everyone knows how to ask for help, so a lot of people, like musicians, will just play. They find playing their instrument as a way to kind of escape. When you take on this expression of trying to escape and go on and show someone your perspective or gain their perspective on something, it's not just exactly what you or someone else may be feeling. It is the expression as a whole. A lot of times with musicians, it's not just our expression as you're playing. It's not your expression as you go through just playing the normal stuff on your instrument. It's often the feelings of what the composer has put into a piece, and that is something that I really want to touch on today. I feel as though there are feelings from a composer that are just intended for the audience to feel, and that is something that if you're able to understand more, and knowing about it is better able for you to understand. For a lot of people, they don't understand what it's like to be a musician and kind of understand the music that's going on and everything, and you go through and you're wondering, this doesn't make sense. What are they trying to say? What are they trying to convey? And it's often through what we're playing is actually how we're feeling. One of the things to become a better musician is to, how do you convey your own feelings through that thing, through the music? And that's something that isn't just taught. You have to understand on a personal level what it means for you. Specifically, when I mention composers will express themselves through the piece, there are a couple composers that will do that. Bach does that in his concertos. One composer who's actually one of my personal favorites is David Maslanka. He does that in many of his pieces. They explain what he was feeling throughout his lifetime, and you as a musician can feel that. So even when he has many pieces that were wrote, Maslanka has many pieces that he wrote anything from simple concertos for instruments, just maybe one instrument or a couple, all the way to symphonies that are still played worldwide today. Unfortunately, though, Maslanka passed away in 2017. That is something that adds another almost layer to what you're trying to understand with this expression. Expression he gives through his pieces isn't something that he could tell you because he's not here. It's something that you have to know yourself to go through and find out what it means. you're never actually going to meet the composer for the piece that you're playing 9 times out of 10. Most of them are from more classical music ages, and we don't have as much recently, and they leave their feelings and what they had gone through in the pieces themselves. That is something that as a musician you have to understand to continue through that expression. Specifically Maslanka, because he passed away in 2017, there were many high schools in the local area that had actually gone through and played many of his pieces. I played 2 of them, Give Us This Day and Traveler. Traveler was actually one of the pieces that Maslanka had wrote that begins to really sum up his career as an expression and how he transferred the ideas of his expressions and his feelings through pieces, through his work. When you look at it on the very first page of Traveler, he has a quote, and it reads, "In our hearts, our minds, our souls, we travel from life to life to life, in time and eternity." This is something that it's not the key to the puzzle, it is the puzzle itself in the beginning for what you do with this music and how you go through. It's something that you have to go through and you don't really understand until you go and understand as you continue on with the different tempo and key changes and how he feels through the whole piece. And really it touches light on towards the end of his career. It was written in 2003, towards the end of his career. He went through and was heading towards retirement. So in the second half of that piece, he's conveying through the smaller sections, the slower tempo, the different minor keys, that this is where he's going. He's ending towards the end. And that is something as a musician, when you begin to understand and you express that through yourself, it is allowing yourself to relate to him and his issues and using his piece to actually express yourself to others that may not understand. I played this in my last year of high school. It was towards the end for me, and that is something that I felt was really necessary, and it made my high school year really dependent on that, and I would not change it for anything. It was those expressions in his pieces that made it go on, and that is something that if you continue to study those expressions, they bring us together not only ourselves, but they bring us together as a society for what happens. Thank you.